Hello there, this is the first day of Design Fundamentals, and today we're going to be talking about visual hierarchy. There's lots of ways to create visual hierarchy, and these are the main ways, which is size, colour, contrast, alignment, proximity, repetition, style and texture, density, and white space. All of these can be used in combination together to give a visual hierarchy to a design. What visual hierarchy is it basically is telling a story of that design that's been done. So for argument's sake, in a website, it's guiding you through the page. The hierarchy is basically telling you which bit you should be reading and looking at next. That it guides you through, and it's telling you which points you need to be looking at. This is very helpful for making sure you're getting people to look at the right things at the right point in time. So the main ones we're going to be looking at are the first four, which is size, colour, contrast and alignment. These ones I would say can be quite easily grasped, and we can dig it further with these, and you'll get a good understanding how you can quickly implement these into your designs. Once you get a good understanding of these, you'll be able to go and apply them to your own designs. So the first one we're going to look at is size. So which one of these of these circles stands out the most to you? It would be the large one. So from here, what happens, the visual hierarchy would be looking at the large one, then you'd be looking at the next one to the right, then the one below it, then the smallest one. It kind of creates a little swirl in this case. That would be the visual hierarchy for size. So you can think of it as a bit of a funnel. The size, you'll see this in headings, like a H1 being very big and bold, then a H2 being slightly smaller and probably the font weight won't be as strong. So it's basically just getting you and your eyes to follow a particular path is the way it can be happen. So in this case we use size. So the next one we're going to look at is colour. The one that'll stand out to you the most here is the red dot. So we've still used the same circles, but in the previous one, the very small circle, now the one with the red dot, is now the one that stands out the most. And we've just achieved this by just adding colour to that circle and just adding that little red dot. And we've made this one stand out the most. And that's where your eyes are drawn to. A little way to check the visual hierarchy of a page if you're struggling a little bit is to just look at the design and just squint quite hardly so it blurs the whole page, and then you can just sort of see where your eyes are drawn to across the page, and they're the elements you'd sort of be looking at. You also you see this, it's called like the blur test, and people just like get their design and then put like a rectangular opacity over it so that they can just sort of blur the whole design and see where they're drawn to and the elements, not so that you can read them or anything like that, just so you can get a grasp of the actual flow that you should be going through the page. So the next one we'll look at is contrast. So all we've done for this one is we just added a background colour to the large circle, and that instantly makes it pop and us to want to look at that one first. And you'll see this done quite a lot. So what I did recently for when I was redesigning my blog was the main content in the main block for the text. I added a white background to this, just to give it a bit of a container, and then the rest of the content I added just a grey background. This really makes the white content container stand out against the grey background. So that's how you can use contrast in that particular instance. And the next one we'll look at is alignment. So here again, the small circle stands out lots just because we've put it slightly away from the rest of the circle, so it's slightly out of the alignment. So this really makes this circle stand out, and we've achieved this by alignment and just moving it slightly away from the others and removing the sort of different spacing to achieve this. So they're the main four elements that we're going to really talk about for visual hierarchy. So we'll have a look at a particular designs now and show you how you can see the visual hierarchy in play. So this is designer news, and for here what happens is they've used the contrast, how we were saying the white background element on grey background. So you can see this where it says the designer news. So actually that's the first thing that I'm really drawn to as an element. And you'll see there next to the number 1, that's the main thing that we're sort of drawn to instantly as we look onto this page. And then the next thing is we'll go down and we'll look at the rest of the content. So these are in this case, the particular news stories. So we'll go down and we'd read all those. That's the way our eyes would look for this. Then what's happening is we go over to the navigation bar and we look across. So we look at the logo, we look at the rest of the navigation, then we look at the login area, then we go down to, I'm assuming that's a little ad, and then the jobs board. So this, we've gone down and across, and that's the way we've read this page. That's the way the visual hierarchies are done. So they've achieved this. To go with the navigation is the big bold sort of text and then the blue background. So once we've read the content, that's where our eyes instantly jump back up to, because that blue, it really pops out and that really makes us attracted to go back up to there instead of over to the sidebar. So that's how they managed to achieve that. And then this is Twitter, which is an interesting design because obviously the main content is in the center. So we don't get instantly attracted to write a tweet or anything like that. We're instantly attracted to look at the first tweet as there next to the number 1. And then we'd go down and look at the next tweet and we'd continue doing that. And then what would happen is we'd go over to the sidebar because we actually read text left to right. It's like an F going across. We read the content. So in this case, because we've started in the center column, we're going across to the right. So we're looking at the live video, then we'll go up to who to follow. And then the next one, we'll go look up to possibly click the tweet button. Then we go up to the write a tweet, what's happening. Then we go back over to the left-hand side, header navigation where home is. And then the next one is our profile next to number 8. And then finally is the trending section next to number 9. And these are just the elements that they've used for visual hierarchy to get us to view the process of how they want us to view the page. So in this case, it's a bit of a swirl. I hope this helps. And in tomorrow's lesson, we will be looking at design layout. And hopefully that will give you another tool in your arsenal to use. See you tomorrow.